Well, now I'm just angry. Welcome back. You don't have to be angry with me, but I am. So that was 1 hour of time, my precious time, fixing technical problems with the Audacity file that never should have been broken in the first place. But that's okay. It's not like I'm supposed to be writing or telling stories and not fixing stupid IT problems. But that's what you get to do. All right, enough bitching on my part because I will bitch all day. Let's record. Chapter 31, Dark Forge Hex. Dark Forge Hex breathes like a sleeping beast. Tiny lights wink across rusty refinery walls. Conveyor belts churn, vents flare, and the steady lava burn of the smelter machinery thumps like a heartbeat. It goes dark, and all the joy of the kaiju kaiju fight is left behind. Pepper wrings her fins. Dave, we're winning, right? We just jumped out of a perfectly good kaiju into a nightmare factory, armed with a space bathtub. Sure, we're winning. Nervous, I check the rifle I borrowed from Hank. Pulse halberd. Rifle. Ammo 1000. Class 3 damage. I cycle the bolt action like I've seen Hank do. The weapon powers up, but my HUD flashes a warning. Rifle proficiency 15%. Rifle proficiency 15%. Would you like to select a more appropriate weapon? Great. I'd be a better shot with my eyes closed. I realize I've never held a loaded weapon in Riftborn and haven't built up any proficiency. I have more shooting practice IRL than in the game. But killing mobs isn't my job. That's what Matchstick does best. Absolute weapon! Mick eyes the Dark Forge, excited. My HUD pings and my minimap is suddenly filled with red dots, indicating way too many enemies. I glance up and one of them peeks from a tunnel and I see the description. Sub boys. Level 3 wrenchman. Drilling tunnels for pay, these bottom feeders will follow commands from anyone big enough to bark. You don't have to tell them twice. Being on their knees is their natural state. Mole men appear in the shadows. Blind with big teeth, sniffing at us. Each one of them wears a white jumpsuit and carries a red power drill that looks like it could be plenty deadly. I got this. Pepper's eyes glow pink as she fires up her flash mob mentality. She attempts to draw the wrenchman into a video like she did with the C4 cats, but they don't go for it. Matchstick jumps out of his bathtub. Nothing's going right today. Whatever. I'll just try to avoid stepping on the camera base. Yeah. Happy Saturday, everybody. WW. Hello, 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 love UI. Send me good vibes, love UI. It's not going well. Beep, beep, beep. Matchstick jumps out of the bathtub and opens fire with blue jets of flame, screaming bloody murder. He torches 3 sub-boys, then an alert flashes on my HUD. B.A. Baracus activated. Enemy debuff. Fear. Terrified, the sub-boys run for cover. Yeah! I land the bathtub by Matchstick as the mole men flee. I pity the fools! Mick shoots me a look. Pity the fools? Pity the fools? What is that, Shakespeare? What is that? What is that, Shakespeare? Yep. I pocket McBoatface and scout ahead into the gigantic hallway that looks like a big cylinder. I keep an eye out, but the sub-boys aren't interested in fighting back. At least, not yet. Mick strides ahead, his hands on fire. The pyromancer is deadly as hell, but I'm not good enough with a gun to be much help. I miss my kaboomerang. We need a plan. Mick, whatever comes at us, we Darkforge Hex shudders with thunder. Music explodes from hidden speakers in the walls. Soundtrack. Pump It. Black Eyed Peas. 2005. I realize what's happening. There's no time to plan. There's no time to plan. There's no time to plan. The boss battle is now. Something drops from a hole in the ceiling, something the size of a house. Darkforge Hex shudders with a boom as the giant spheroid hits. Two-toned white and pale blue. It rolls and looms over us like a billiard ball over a trio of ants. Final deathmatch! Dig Dugler, Outlaw Refinery Boss. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Once an upstanding hydrogen miner, Dig Dugler was... I can't pay attention to the rest. I can't pay attention to the rest because I'm too busy laughing. I doubt you remember Dig Dug. It was an early arcade where you drilled paths through the rock to reach treasure. The hero, the titular Dig Dug, was basically Tunnel Smurf. White hat, white pants, blue skin. White hat, white pants, blue skin. Apparently, Riftborn decided to rip off the Dig Dug idea, but perverted it into a 3-story wadded up Smurf ball. The white top, blue middle, white bottom, with stupid looking red drills where its hands should be. It looks like someone told artificial intelligence to make a 4K Dig Dug, but never checked the result. The level boss is AI slop. Every comic book has tried to make a scary floating head villain. From Marvel's MODOK to Krang and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they always look about as scary as the annoying orange. As if Dig Dugler's bowling ball body wasn't ridiculous enough, he's held in place on a kickstand that sticks out from the front of his... He's held in place on a kickstand that he's held in place on a kickstand that sticks out of the front of his Smurf pants like a giant blue dong.
Foolish mortals!
Dig Dougler thunders, waving his stupid drill bit hands.
You dare trespass in the sacred shafts of the Dark Forge Hex? I am Dig Dougler, breaker of bedrock, devourer of ore, the mole who mined 1,000.
I tune out his monologue and survey the battlefield, which is just a long, perfectly cylindrical tunnel. My Hey You Guys trap detector highlights about 30 different danger zones. My Hey You Guys trap detector highlights about 30 different danger zones circling the construction. Weak spot. Caution. This section of Dark Forge Hex is ready to fail. No step. No step. No step. Now, why the hell would the designers intentionally put in weak spots? Are they gonna blow up and kill us? Or blast us into space?
If you think you can defeat me, your ego is overinflated.
Dig Dougler thrusts his giant red drills at us.
Let's see how much pressure you can take.
A long white hose flashes out of the Smurf ball's waist like a flaccid white python. It smashes into Matchstick's belly. Mick stares down at the thing, stunned. Dig Dougler starts violently rocking up and down. Dig Dougler starts violently rocking back and forth, humping a giant red tube. Dig Dougler starts violently rocking back and forth, humping a giant red tube. Oh, crap. I forgot Dig Dug's weapon from the arcade game. It's not a drill. It's a bicycle pump. Matchstick Mick inflates. He suddenly expands like a cartoon body filling with helium. His eyes bulge out of his head. His eyes bulge out as his head expands to 5 times its normal size. He shouts. I run for him, but his flames lash out everywhere, and I dive for cover. The flames blast Dig Dougler's hose, and it breaks. The flames blast Dig Dougler's hose, and it breaks. Matchstick Mick flies around the room like an emptying balloon. Deflating until he's empty, the pyromancer hits a wall and collapses to the floor like an empty bag. I hear Mick yell into his mic at home. What the fuck was that then? Party member down. Matchstick Mick. Health 1%. Debuff deflated. 1 minute. I feel camera drones zoom I feel camera drones zoom past my head as the music rises. Dig Dougler turns to Pepper and I.
I hope you appreciate the gravity of the situation. I hope you appreciate the gravity of the situation.
His kickstand dong smashes a button, and warning lights flare. Warning, gravity forge up. The world flips. One heartbeat, I'm planted to the floor. The next, I'm shooting into the air. I fly 50 feet and slam into what used to be the ceiling, which is now the floor. Pepper whacks into my hip as each of us takes 25% damage from the impact. Oh! Ow! Pepper cries out. The whole station is upside down. I glance at Mick, whose body hangs limply from a pipe above us. He's still griping into his mic. Oh, for fuck's sake! Dig Dougler's massive bulk slams down near us. And his cannonball body bounces and rolls with a purpose, speeding to attack and crush us. I blast him with the halberd, but it barely scratches his health bar. Warning, gravity forge down. I fall straight up. I plummet to the ceiling floor head first. Disoriented, I fire the Yeetle juice somewhere that feels like up. The yeet line catches the tunnel wall, but my angle is bad. And we hit the ground for another 10% damage. Chubby Smurf drops with us, picking up speed. He bounces when he hits. He angles his fall to crush us on impact.
Time for pancakes!
I yeet us away right before he crushes the spot where we just were. 60-foot knockback. The concussion blows us into a wall. We skid against the curved surface. Dig Dougler fires his bicycle pump hose. It nails me in the chest, and I feel my ribs start to expand. I blast it with a halberd, and it snaps. I hit the ground, and suddenly I'm at half health. I hit the ground, and suddenly I'm at half health. Rift bid. Dig Dug danger. Filter panic mode. Hype score plus 250. For a breath, I think, this is it. This is how I die. For a breath, I think, this is it. This is how I die. Farming views on Rift Talk. I can't get enough steps to activate my parkour pulse. And most of Pepper's mind blender skills are useless against bosses. But I don't plan on getting killed by something this dumb. No one could defeat Dick Dougler. No one could defeat Dig Dougler hand to hand. No one could defeat Dig Dougler hand to hand. Which means there's gotta be another way. I try to see Dark Forge Hex through Nintendo eyes. The environment is a big idea design. The environment is a big idea design, while Diggy Smalls feels like an afterthought. More effort went into the Dark Forge itself. Designers did a lot of this with Legend of Zelda and Dragon Slayer. And Dragon Slayer. That's it. The Forge Tunnel is a perfect setup for a Ball Crusher run. With Dougler as the ball. With Dougler as the ball. At the end of the tunnel is a huge 50-foot smelter that boils like an overexcited pool of lava. I check the Dark Forge weak spots. And suddenly get the general idea. And suddenly get the idea of the boss lair mechanics. This is Dirk the Daring, Ride or Die. This is Dirk the Daring, Ride or Die. Ride or die. Pep! Start counting when the gravity reverses. Start counting when the gravity reverses. Okay. The world flips. I fire Yeetlejuice and swing like Batman on a bad night. We spin crazily at the end of the line. Pepper makes a gurgling sound like she might throw up. As Dig Dougler rolls at us, I jam my pulse rifle into Pepper's flippers. Shoot the weak spot! Okay. The world flips. That's the other okay. The penguin jams her eyes shut and blasts away blind. But it's almost impossible to miss the giant target. The weak spot explodes and sends shrapnel flying into Diggy Smalls. Ugh! He shouts in pain, but his health bar barely moves. The explosion only slows him down. I'm coming for you, Pepper and DDD. I'm coming for you, DDD and Pepper. He rolls, closing ground fast. Timing is everything. Swing, shoot a weak spot, slow him down, gravity reverses, rinse and repeat. The next time gravity flip-flops, I take over counting so Pepper can focus on shooting. I pop a California roll in her mouth, another in mine. We just might survive this thing. I pop a California roll in her mouth, another in mine. We might just survive this thing. On the fifth round, my timing is off, and Dig Dougler lands too close. The blast drops us to quarter health. Desperate, I skip the last weak spot and fly to the end of the tunnel. Gravity reverses, but this time I don't fire. I let myself skid along the wall, run down it to get 21 steps, and parkour and parkour and parkour pulse my way to my final destination. And parkour pulse my way to our final destination. I skid to a stop, out of momentum. What are you doing? Pepper yells. We have to run. We have to run.
Mwahaha! I have now.
Dig Dougler thunders, smiling.
Time for pancakes!
He jumps to obliterate us. I keep the count and my nerve. I keep the count and my nerve as a 3-story blue wrecking ball hurtles down to crush us. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. I fire the Yeetle juice into the ground at my feet as gravity reverses. I don't go anywhere latched into place, but Dig Dougler drops right into the smelter. Right into the smelter. I hear his screams as the giant blue meatball is boiled alive in his own forge. I just watch, hanging from the ceiling, staring down at him.
No!
He yells as molten ore sprays like fireworks, and his bicycle pump hands melt off.
Curse you, DDD and Pepper! Curse you forever in hell! Curse you forever in hell!
Go from Dig Dougler to Pepper. That's a jump. Mean boys don't get pancakes. 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 Sorry, let's see if you can stitch that gap together. Pepper yells as Dig Dougler disintegrates. Pepper yells as Dig Dougler disintegrates into a meat-stained fatality. We got all the Doomfangs! My comms suddenly ignite with the cries of the night shift. Coming in hot! Coming in hot! Coming in hot! I watch Rincewind's flying saucer land next to us. Hank and Wahoo run out, ready to fight until they see the last globs of Diggy in the smelter. Ready to fight until they see the last globs of Diggy in the smelter.
You beat him!
Rex's filter. The wizard and the barbarian jump up and down, laughing an ecstatic noise of triumph.
Yeah! Yeah!
Victory! Victory! Dig Dougler has pumped his last tunnel. Dig Dougler has pumped his last tunnel and returned to the fires from whence he came, dying the only way he could, by dig-dugging his own grave. By dig-dugging his own grave. Murder points. 300, 3,000 XP each. 100,000 gold each. Forge treasure. Platinum ingots plus 100. Ding. Exotic med kit plus 1. Ding. Party exotic loot boxes plus 5. Plus 5. 5 minutes. Party, ding. Party epic skin to win. Plus 5. 5 minutes. Drill bit arm plus 1. We're going to change that. Bicyle. P-I-C-Y-C-L-E. Pump. Bicycle pump plus 1. Bicycle pump plus 1. Trickster elixir. Trickster elixir. 4 of 5. Quest prize. Reforged. All remaining players. All surviving players receive a free respawn. You did a thing. You did a thing. Never split the party. It's the oldest rule in the book. But you threw the rule book out the window and killed a monster with it. It may be stupid, but it worked. Make that nice and tight. This is a lot of voice work. Hang on. Badge unlocked. Badge unlocked. Badge unlocked. Two front war. The Ottoman Empire couldn't pull it off. Napoleon couldn't pull it off. But you managed to conquer two massive opposing fronts at the same time. In your face, Bonaparte! In your face, Bonaparte! Dubba W! Dubba W! Rince looks frustrated as hell as he surveys the carnage. I missed it. I missed the whole damn thing. Loot boxes appear around the smelter pit like a shining necklace of diamonds. I gather them up and hand out treasure like I'm Santa Claus. with Pepper as my buddy the elf. The gamers shout victory as they celebrate their first big win and the swag that goes with it. They open the five exotic loot box. They open the five exotic loot box. They open the five exotic loot boxes and gaze lovingly at the shiny new gear. A refinery exosuit that carries big armor bonuses, a fusion lance that treats steel like butter, a needle blaster that fires dozens of spikes with a chance to paralyze an enemy, pocket Atmo bubbles that make you immune to open space, and a gold key card that opens who gives a and a gold key card that opens who cares what it opens. We won. We won. We won. The night shift goes nuts, shouting and eagerly testing the gear. Matchstick uses the fusion lance to burn straight through an industrial steel kiln, grinning like a lunatic. As the inevitable discussion of who gets what begins, my eyes snag on a piece of machinery that's not part of the treasure. It's tagged IFF rebrand. A little computer node that looks like it's been clipped to the Dark Forge. A little computer node that's been clipped to the Dark Forge controls. Small, rusted, and industrial. It looks like it's been used hard for decades. Perfectly unremarkable, but tagged. Perfectly unremarkable, but tagged. But tagged. I pop it into my inventory and examine its properties. IFF rebrand. IFF rebrand. Programmable industrial beacon used to certify illegal pirate ships. Hauling contraband. Hauling contraband. Spoofs vessel manifest logs and transponder tags to appear labeled as medical supply ship. Followed by a random designation number. Followed by a random designation number. Didn't follow all that? Didn't follow all that? Basically, when the cops run your license plate, instead of being labeled bloodthirsty murderers, your ship is tagged puppy rescuers. Tighten that up as much as you can. The only joke is at the end. The rest of it is just blip blap. Basically, when the cops run your license plate, instead of being labeled bloodthirsty murderers, your ship is tagged puppy rescuers. Interesting. Interesting. Rincewind arrives holding several ingots of platinum. How do you want to divvy up the loot? I wave him off, thinking. You five keep it. You five keep it. You sure? You sure? We couldn't have done this without you living legends. Hate to admit it, but his words give me some pride. Damn right you couldn't have pulled this off without us. Damn right you couldn't have pulled this off without us, but it's still nice to hear. Damn right he couldn't have pulled this off without us, but it's still nice to hear. Maybe give Hank the armor. We can't spend... maybe give Hank the armor. We can't spend the gold. Maybe give Hank the armor. We can't spend the gold. Besides, I check Pepper's Rift vids. I check Pepper's Rift vids depicting the immigrant song attack, the exploding spaghetti monster, and Dig Dougler's death drop, complete with a walkthrough on how to beat him. Another 20,000 hype for me and Hank already. We got what we came for. As the night shift continues to celebrate, I feel an unexpected wave of anger wash over me. The players are thrilled, but only because they don't know they're getting ripped off. 2 guns, some armor, and some air bubbles? Hank's entire loadout is better than that. I've been on Rift Elite quests that awarded legendary armor for every player. I've been on Rift Elite quests that awarded legendary armor for every player, including me, and 10 times the gold. Rift Elite booby traps are easier. Rift Elite booby traps are easier to find. The Rift Elite monsters are easier to kill. And Rift Elite players get more loot. The rich get richer, and the road is paved with gold. It's what these corporate leeches do best. Sure, the top local salesman in the company gets a 3-day cruise. And he feels pretty good about it. He gets to take his family on vacation. Maybe his kids respect him a bit more. Maybe his kids respect him a little bit more. Maybe his wife is more affectionate. Maybe his kids respect him a little bit more. Maybe his wife is a little more affectionate. He's told to be happy with the cruise, and he is. He's told to be happy with the cruise, and he is. What he doesn't know is it's just another participation trophy. He gets a 3-day cruise. But the CEOs, the elites, they don't get a cruise. 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 They get super yachts. It's not enough. I say it out loud and everybody hears it. Dave? Pepper tilts her head. What do you mean? What do you mean? Everyone looks at me, confused. I get to my feet. Screw it. It's not enough. You guys are better. You guys are a better team than any Rift Elite party I've seen. You try harder, you grind harder. You try harder, you grind harder. You're better than them. For the first time in days, I hear that familiar receptionist's voice. Empathy engine. Exercise caution. Please refrain from disparaging Rift Elite players. Please refrain from disparaging Rift Elite players. They are worthy of your respect and admiration because they pay for it. Remember, your tone is a guide for others. Your tone is a guide for others. Your tone is a guide for others. I ignore it. I ignore it. You deserve a shot to be on top. You all deserve a shot to be on top. But you'll never get it. The people with the money are always going to win. The people with the money are always going to win. They get better tools, bigger weapons, easier quests, and more loot and more loot. All you're ever gonna get is scraps. Yeah. Wahoo laughs. That's why they're called pay to win games, DDD. That's why they're called pay to win games, Triple D. That's what's wrong with the whole system, inside the computer and out. That's what's wrong with this whole system, inside the computer and out. And I hate a rigged game. If you want a shot at that leaderboard, you need Rift Elite quests, Rift Elite gold, and Rift Elite gear. Well, none of us has the money for that. None of us has the money for that. Rinse snorts. And F2P memberships don't get access. And F2P memberships don't get access to Rift Elite quests. And F2P memberships don't get access to Rift Elite quests. It may take me some time to catch on to new things. It may take me some time to catch on to new things, but I pay attention in class. I remember one of the first things this game ever showed me. No, you don't have access to Rift Elite zones. I tap my chest and display my Living Legend perk. I tap my chest and display my Living Legend perk for everyone to see. All access pass. Restricted areas plus Rift Elite zones. Plus Rift Elite zones. But I do. All right, that gets us there. Holy Moses, that only took forever. Okay, so that gets us to the end of that session. Balconies, Caledonia, NATO disc, justification, special. So you're just spamming the chat with garbage because your life is that empty. It's so sad. Go touch grass, man. Rest of you, keep chugging on your day. Go accomplish